This is Tully and Abrushka. They started a fertility journey in 2016. It took them 5 years to have now a beautiful set of twins. And they obviously went through all the anxiety and nervousness of going through the IVF lab, having a lot of disappointments in their lives. And one of the things that they needed in their IVF journey was genetic testing. And a lot of the genetic testing is done and sent overseas. Brushka happens to be a very innovative type of chap. He is a director of a company called Kingfisher Medical Supplies, and he decided to get South Africans to be able to get genetic testing done affordably, with a quick turnaround time, and with a face to the genetic partners. Kingfisher is a member of the Karma Group. If anybody knows about the Karma Group, they were actually very big when it came to COVID, but they're a diversified healthcare company that tries to bring healthcare to South Africa affordably. So Abrushka went and sourced genetic equipment, and I was approached at the end of 2019 to help set up the genetics lab. I did that with a lot of gusto. I was very excited. Really wanted to help. Needless to say, 3 weeks into us trying to set it up, I hit COVID, but thank God we were part of the medical fraternity, so we worked underground. To date, we offer 3 types of testing. The first is called PGTA, which Dr. Holmes spoke about. This is pre-implantation genetic testing for aneuploidy. Aneuploidy means the distinction between an embryo that is healthy genetically and one that is not. And most IVF labs have embraced the idea that before they implant back into your embryo, that you go through this genetic testing to ensure that you're not putting an unhealthy baby back in. That actually helps you have a healthier pregnancy, quicker to birth rate, because if there is something wrong at that stage, it's stopped, and then you don't have to go through numerous IVF cycles, numerous failed implantation, etc., etc. This test is important for women 35 and older. Just some statistics: at 35, you probably have about a 20% chance of having a genetically abnormal child. By the time you're 40, you're hitting about 90%. So it has become common practice now for people to go through PGTA. We also have PGTM, which is a more specific and specialized test, and that is if somebody is trying to rid themselves of a specific genetic disease that they know of. And you'll see just a little bit later, I actually have a testimonial of somebody that gives me a tremendous amount of pleasure. And finally, we have a thing called products of conception. That is, if you are found an unfortunate thing of having recurrent miscarriages, then one of the things that we do is we look at that aborted fetus to see, are you aborting because of genetic disease? Because that will help you change the way you move forward with your IVF treatment. Right. What we're very, very excited about is that we are now introducing into the South African market carrier screening. So you can ask, what is carrier screening? Well, basically, carrier screening is a test that we will run to check if you are a carrier of a genetic disease, a recessive condition, which I will explain soon, that can affect your future offspring, either, God forbid, with fatality or with severe consequences. And an example would be, for example, Down syndrome, cystic fibrosis, thalassemia. We are all carriers of genetic diseases. So we identify if you have what's called a gene mutation in you before you've even started your fertility journey. It's just a screening, almost like I told a couple just before. Today we screen to make sure we don't get to diabetes, we don't get to heart disease by checking our sugar, by checking our cholesterol. Now in the reproductive space, you can check for genetic if you're carrying genetic mutations before you even start your IVF journey. This was something that really most times was sent overseas with long waits, with nobody on the other side to explain to you what is going on. And we're really, really proud to be the only laboratory now in South Africa that provides. Right, why should one do carrier screening? Well, there's a number of reasons, and the most important is that today we have the luxury to be proactive. Right, before, if you knew that you had a genetic disease or there was something wrong with you, we kind of like played the roulette and just hoped for the best. Right, or we didn't even know what was happening with us, and we landed up, unfortunately, in a situation with an ill child. Today, we can be proactive about it, and at a very, very affordable price, that will actually give us a peace of mind. Because we have such a lot of multiple ethnicities marrying in South Africa, how much more so important it is that we look at this disease. Here's a lovely picture just to show you, just in terms, this is Genetics 101, which I'm sure is very, very understandable to the professionals here. To those that are the laymen, you've got both parents, and you can see that if you are carrying a recessive gene, you have a 25% chance of having an unaffected child. You have a 50% chance of it being passed on to your child, and then that's where we're trying to hit the most. You certainly do not want to have an affected child. So you will either get, hopefully, a negative result, which could mean that one partner is carrying one disease, another partner is carrying another disease, but it means nothing in your reproductive journey because it's not going to affect the health of your child. So that is the best result, obviously, that we get. If there is a positive result where we find out that both of you are carriers of the same genetic disease, that is not the end of the road. That's not, where all things stop. Today, now, together with our IVF laboratories and doctors, we are able to do the other testing that I showed you that will obviate and take away any embryo affected with the genetic abnormalities and still implant into you the healthy, the unaffected child, which, as you can see, generally has a 25% chance. There is once or twice that you will get an inconclusive result, but that's really generally off to one side, and most times it is either negative or positive. Right, one of the things that we are passionate about and feel very strongly about is that we don't throw people into a world that is not understandable and that actually just makes you get all hysterical about the fact that it's genetic, like I can't rub it out, I can't rub out my genes. So we have committed that with every carrier screening test, you will be digitally or in-person counseling. Once again, thank you, Leanne, and thank you everybody for your kind attention.